One last thing we'll do here is we'll make saved into a variable up here. Because here in level has changed, we'll say if not saved or for example, if they refresh the page and choose a lesser level than they've saved, what would happen without this is that it would save that lesser amount, the new level stars, as the save. So we don't want it to do that. We don't want it to save it if what's already saved is more than the length of level stars. And we also had here in when level select, we had current. This was commented out. So here we do need to change current level to the current scene during when level select. Okay, so these things do need to happen in here. And with that, we have the whole complete game. Clicking start would take us to the latest level. Select. And even if we refresh the page, it would take us to 4. Select. Okay, so there's a few things we want to do as we get ready this game for production. Using modules is nice, and it's pretty modern. Sometimes, depending on where you're going to put your game, you can get into security issues with calling it a module. So we're just going to go back to regular JavaScript type here for maps.js and for game.js. And then also we're not going to do this import. And maps.js, just quick and easy, we'll use the window instead of export. Okay. So we'll say window.levelMaps equals level maps. So we can still just say maps equals new level maps. That stays the same. Just so that it's a bit backwards compatible, and depending on where it ends up, sometimes you could have a security issue or a MIME type issue with module. So it's just easiest just to do that. Okay, the other thing, we put a title here, Ninja Spike Avoider. And then now we'd like a loading to, if the game happens to be somewhere where it takes a long time to load, or where it's on a slow connection. This game is so small that it typically doesn't matter. On most devices, it's just going to load up real quick. So the only time it would take time to load is if they have a slow connection. So for that, we're definitely going to want some sort of loading, and the best way to do that is just with CSS only. So we're going to include a style. Um, and there's a pre-made Tabageos intro loader. It's called Tabageos intro.css. That's on the GitHub. Okay, so we put it here. There it is right here. Okay, and then it also has the this, you just need to copy this table and put, what it does is it animates the letters, and it has a line that grows on the bottom. So we put this style sheet here. It needs to be first because you want it to be the first thing to load, so that while other things are loading, for example, the game and the maps, it would be showing the style sheet. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then also right here, we're going to paste in this table. So it'll flip each one of these letters 360, and this line is going to be a line that grows and shrinks, just gives a good effect of loading. Okay, and PHLD, that's just the ID of the whole table. We'll use that over here. So then now we'll come, so this together with the HTML will produce a nice loader. It'll be the first thing to load, and so as everything else is loading, it'll be displayed. Come down here at the bottom here, and we'll say set timeout function set attribute style display none. So after, let it run at least 1 second. Okay, let's see what that looks like. There it is for a quick second. Okay, so for game over, or when they complete the game, we're going to say if this dot scene changer dot current scene equals 10. We could also make it go to the game over screen. We could draw a whole nother thing on the camera, whatever we wanted to do. In this case, we'll just type something on the screen saying, well done, you've finished the game. So we have a pixel paragraph method. Okay, it wants the X and Y of where to start the paragraph. The line spacing is 10 by default anyway. And then the paragraph, you separate it with a dot. So well done. Say you have completed all 10 levels. Say like, thank you for playing. Okay, just some sort of message that they beat the game. And then we're going to draw this to the camera layer. We're telling it to put the pixel type in the camera layer. Okay, so what that'll do is that'll type out in pixel font this paragraph. Each dot represents a new line. Okay, and then also down here, if the scene is less than 10, then go ahead and go back to the regular loop. Otherwise, if it's 10 or more, we'll say this dot full reset to title. Okay, to start the game over. So that's one simple way to have something happen at the end. Let's see that happen. Just to get to the end of the game. Okay, it's right there. Well done. That's it. Okay, it takes you back to the title. Right. Did you hear that? There's actually one other thing we have to deal with. Is there's an auto pause feature, and we want to kind of control that ourselves. So we're going to say this dot auto pause equals 0. So here in initial setup, as it's setting up everything to display the title screen, saying auto pause equals 0 tells it to don't do the auto pause feature, which is that if the game loses focus, it pauses it, and then when it regains focus, it unpauses it. But that also starts the game loop. If they've played the game already, then on the title screen, when they focus it from being unfocused, the game loop would start in the background again, and we don't want that to happen. So we're just going to control auto pause ourselves and say, on the title screen, we don't want the auto pause feature. Okay. So, but before start game, right when they start the game, we do want the auto pause feature. We can say, so this dot enable auto pause right before start game. And likewise on back to title, we say this dot disable auto pause. Okay, so when they go back to the title, we don't want auto pause to be happening, but when the game is running, we do want the auto pause feature. So also in when select level, we want to enable auto pause when they're selecting from the level select to go to a level. Okay, because we've used pixel paragraph is using helper rect and helper point. It's using these things. Okay, so what happens is this happens, and so now these things are different. And while it's tweening it down, that's fine because it's changing it here. By the time we get to this else, pixel paragraph has used these, and these here, well, this one here, has been expecting helper rect and helper point to be the same as its last here. Well, pixel paragraph has changed it. And so it doesn't draw the box for the whole time anymore on level 10. So what we need to do is go ahead and copy this whole section and put it here. And we know that the Y is 120. So we don't have to say that here. Okay, all because pixel paragraph is using helper rect and helper point also. So when we get to this, we need to make sure that these values are what we want them to be before this is called here. So now at the end of level 10, it's going to show the box correctly.